God is great.
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات وقال تعالى كما أرسلنا فيكم رسولا منكم يتلو عليكم آياتنا ويزكيكم ويعلمكم الكتاب والحكمة ويعلمكم ما لم تكونوا تعلمون رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Respected elders, my dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you with the Islamic greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The topic of this presentation is teaching with purpose. And to get a better grasp of this topic, inshallah, we will look into the matter with the help of some of the PowerPoint presentation, which will inshallah help us retain the matter in our minds and our hearts. Let us know what is the definition of teaching. If you look up in the Oxford Dictionary, teaching means to impart education, to instruct someone as to how to do something. It also means to give instruction or information. It may mean to cause to learn or understand by example or by experience. This is teaching. Our topic is teaching with purpose. What do you mean when you say purpose? Again, if you look in the Oxford Dictionary, purpose means the reason for which something exists, the reason for which something is done or created. It is the desired end, the desired resolve, the intended motive and the intended goal. So teaching with purpose would mean that we impart education, we impart knowledge, keeping in mind the intended resolve, the intended motive, and the desired goal behind the teaching. The purpose of life, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us in the Quran, which is a guide for all of the human beings. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran in Surah Al-Dhariyat, chapter 51, verse number 56, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have created the jinn and the men not but to worship me. From this verse, we come to know that the purpose of any human being is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the actions that He likes, and to abstain from that which He does not like. The importance of purpose in our life is of utmost importance. It is like a magnet that will draw all our efforts towards it. And if you have a purpose, a direction, a goal, then you will persevere towards it with passion and dedication. A teacher with a purpose of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of gaining the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his whole process of teaching, of striving and struggling to create role models, to create leaders, and to create future torchbearers of the human civilization, his entire process of teaching becomes teaching with purpose when he has the objective of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whenever he enters the class, a teacher with a purpose, when he is entering the class, he has it at the back of his mind, he is aware that what he is teaching today in class, this will have an impact on the life of the students, maybe 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, but surely it will have an impact in the future on the life of the students, on the society. This is a teacher with a purpose. If we take a look at the modern day society, the present day society that we live in, and I ask you that what are the prominent features, the most prominent features of a modern day society? You would say that we are at the peak of science and technology. We are at the zenith of progress. We are progressing at an amazing rate. And I agree with you 100%. We are at the peak of science and technology. But at the same time, when we are advancing in science and technology, we are also at the peak, at the heights of moral degradation. We are also at the heights of moral decay. All sorts of crimes are prevalent in our societies today, ranging from violence to murder, terror, adultery, fornication, alcoholism, drugs. All these crimes are prevalent in our societies, and the youth are especially involved in this. The rate of crime amongst the youth is increasing day by day. We are losing our families. We are losing our youth. We are losing our leaders who will lead us in the future. But what is the reason for this moral decay? Why are we experiencing such a moral degradation, and we are seeing such a downfall of the human society when it comes to morals? Don't we have good schools, good colleges, good universities? Yes, we do. But the reason for that is that we have catered to intellectual education, but we have not given proper attention and proper care to the value-based education, to the education that will train the heart. Intellectual education trains the mind. It educates the mind. But value-based education influences the heart. And a person who is educated intellectually, but is not educated and trained through a value-based system of education, then I say that he is dangerous to the society. He is dangerous. And this is the reason Aristotle, who was a famous Greek philosopher, he said that education of the mind without education of the heart is no education at all. He told, education of the mind without education of the heart is no education at all. Yes, a minimum level of moral and ethical literacy is a must in the society. A morally equipped person is more likely to succeed in the future than a person with maybe many degrees, the best qualification, but he is morally bankrupt. He may not succeed, but a person who has moral education, he will succeed in the future. And this reminds me of the quote of Professor Mueller of the Johns Hopkins University. He said, and his statement, it reveals the bitter truth of today's scenario. He said that universities today are producing skilled barbarians. Universities today are producing skilled barbarians because we have failed to provide a framework of values. We have failed to provide a framework of moral values. And a mind without morals, it creates maniacs in the society. A mind that is not educated, a heart that is not trained, will create maniacs in the society. So true education is that which trains the mind as well as the heart. And this is what Islam exactly aims at, training the mind and the heart of a human being. And it gives us a wise integration of both. If we take a look at the Western societies, the people are trained, educated, but that is intellectual education. When it comes to moral values, we find them in a pathetic state. We look at the family relations. It is a total mess when it comes to the education of the heart. A teacher who does not teach with purpose, the most he can expect from his students, the best outcome which he can get from his students after years of hard work and toiling, is that he may get successful doctors, superficially successful engineers, architects, people with big degrees, PhD in nuclear physics, maybe doctors in genetic engineering. He may get all these degrees, but at the same time we will find that the same people may not be good fathers. They may not be good husbands. They may not be good sons, good mothers, good daughters. So we find that education that does not concentrate on values will ruin a person. And education, we look at these educated individuals, these highly qualified individuals, we look at them. In what state they are. They don't even talk to their families. If the teachers do not provide values and morals to their students, then someone else is going to provide, and it is the media. The media will provide values, it will sell values to the students. And today we find that families, we keep on asking our teachers, our scholars for good things, what deed should I do so that I enter paradise? But at the same time, we find families, they surrender to all sorts of the nuisance that is shown on the TV, on the internet, watching filthy films or serials. And I'm not wrong when I say that today the media is nurturing and nourishing the young generation. It is not only selling products and services. The media today is selling ideas. It is selling values which our young generations are buying and are being destroyed by it. On the other hand, a teacher with a purpose, who when enters the class has a purpose in his mind to create leaders and role models, and he adopts this method of teaching, teaching with purpose, then this can yield many benefits and fruits for the society and for himself. Teaching with purpose aims at developing, at helping the student to recognize his creator, to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It helps him build up iman. It helps the student worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now that he has recognized Allah, it helps him worship him. It helps him develop a strong connection with the Quran. It helps him develop the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It helps him develop the sense of accountability, that he is accountable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his education. And it is this factor that is missing among the majority of the educated people. We find them doing things and taking steps that harm the society, using their education as means to oppress the weak, as means to invent things that are considered as antisocial. But when a person who is taught through the method of purposeful teaching, teaching with purpose, such a student, when he grows up, he has this sense of accountability to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that he is responsible and questionable in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the education and the knowledge he has. So he is a benefit to the society. It inculcates in him sabr and shukr, being patient and showing gratitude in all circumstances, in all ups and downs of the life. And above all, it helps him gain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and gain the eternal success, that is Jannah in the hereafter. These are the aims, few of the aims of teaching with purpose. Another feature of teaching with purpose is that it is about focus, focusing on your purpose. And let me give an example to explain this, what focus is. A teacher was teaching archery to his students, and he kept a target. He said that there's a bird on the tree. You have to aim for the eye of the bird. All the students are ready with the bow and arrow. He asked the first student, what do you see? He said that I see a big blue sky. I see the vast earth. I see a tree. A tree is with fruits and leaves. I see the bird and the eye of the bird. The teacher told him, stop. He asked the next student, what do you see? He said that I see only the bird and the eye of the bird. The teacher told him, stop. He asked the third student, what do you see? He said that I only and only see the eye of the bird. The teacher said, excellent, now you can shoot. He shot and the arrow went straight and hit the eye of the bird. This is what focus is. And this is exactly how a teacher with purpose focuses on her goals. How will my teaching have an impact on the life of the students? Maybe 20 years down the line, 50 years, 70 years down the line. How will my teaching be impactful and change the society? And what are the goals that a teacher must concentrate on? In short, you can say there are 3 goals, or you can say the P3 formula. There are 3 P's which a teacher with a purpose must try to obtain and achieve. Number 1, peace in this world. Number 2, paradise in the hereafter. And the third, pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Peace in this world, paradise in the hereafter, and the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the 3 aims and objectives and goals a teacher must concentrate on and try to integrate his goals with the goal of the students. Another feature of teaching with purpose and a benefit is that it inculcates values in the students. Values cannot be legislated. They are to be inculcated. And a teacher with purpose very well understands this. when a student is copying in the examination, he's caught cheating and he tells a lie, he's brought in front of the teacher, and the teacher tries to inculcate in him the qualities of taqwa and the love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas a purposeless teacher, if you bring a student to him, he may let him go scot-free, or he may punish him because it is in the rule of the school. Whereas a teacher with a purpose tries to inculcate values in him. Another feature of teaching with purpose is that it is a visionary teaching. Vision is how you want to see yourself in the future. The power to see the future and plan accordingly with imagination, with wisdom and sharpness of your mind. A visionary teacher, he looks at the future, what he wants his students to be, how his hard work and toiling will impact and change the society in the future. Let me explain this with an example. There were 3 workers working on a construction site. They were building something. They were building a beautiful monument. A passerby, an observer, he happened to go and ask them, what are you doing? One of the workers said that I am earning my daily living. I am earning my bread and butter. If I do not work, my boss will not give me money. So I am earning my living. He asked the second person, what are you doing? He said that I am building a wall and it's a lot of hard work. He asked the third worker, what are you doing? And with a smile, a broad smile on his face and happiness, the third worker said that I am building a beautiful monument. The workers are same workers, same amount of time being spent, same amount of money being paid to them, same amount of efforts being put in, but the difference is in attitude. The first worker sees this as means of earning, and the third worker is a worker with a vision, as if he is visualizing that each brick he is laying is going to build a beautiful monument in the future. And this is going to affect his work, the passion in his work, the dedication in his work. You can take the example of a teacher. If you ask a teacher, what are you doing? You're coming to school every day, you're coming to your college or your university. And he says that I'm coming merely because this is my profession, this is my job, I earn money. And another teacher, he says that I come here because I want to create role models. I want my students to become the leaders in future. You can see, and you will definitely notice the difference in the work of both. The second teacher will be more dedicated, more passionate, and willing to work and sacrifice for the institute and for the students so that they may achieve their vision. And the mind of a student is like acres of land, a large field of uncultivated land. If you sow the seeds of goodness, you will yield goodness. If you sow the seeds of evil, you will have the fruits of evil. So a teacher with a purpose aims to cultivate this in the best way possible, in the best manner possible. This is a teacher with a purpose and the benefit of teaching with purpose. Another aspect and another feature of teaching with purpose and a benefit is that it creates good human beings. A teacher with a purpose, he emotionally engages, he physically energizes, he spiritually elevates the student and transforms them through the use of tazkiyah and tarbiyah to make them into good individuals, into good human beings. And let me remind you that good human beings are more important to the society. They are more important to our earth more than material resources, more than money and wealth. This reminds me of the example of Umar radiallahu anhu. Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu was sitting with his companions and he told them, make a wish, ask for something. So one of them said that, I wish that this room be filled with gold and silver so that I will spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Umar radiallahu anhu, he thought that this was something not too high. He asked them, ask for something more, wish for something more. So another said that I wish that this room be filled with the precious gems, the precious jewels, the rubies and the corals, so that I can spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, looking unpleased, Umar radiallahu anhu asked, ask for something more. Now the people are confused that what can be greater than this, that you have a room filled with gold and silver and you spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What can be greater? So They told, "Oh Amirul Mu'mineen, Umar bin Khattab, you tell us what can be greater than this." He said that, "I wish that this room be filled with the likes of Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu, with the likes of Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah radiallahu anhu, so that I can use them in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." This is the importance of manpower, the importance of good human beings to a society. And a teacher who wants to adopt this method of teaching with purpose, they must follow the example of none other than Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, because he was the best of teachers given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to this mankind. In fact, not only Muslims but even non-Muslims are amazed, they are bedazzled after reading the biography of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The revolution he created, that a nation that was behind the tails of cattle, that was the shepherd of camels, within a few years they become so confident and so courageous that they go out of their territories to challenge the Romans and the Persians. A nation that was steeped in ignorance, that was involved and busy in internal disputes, they become the leaders of the human civilization. What was that thing? How was the training given by the Prophet ﷺ to his Sahaba? What methods did he use to train and educate the Sahaba?